Stephon Castle. I think he has a chance to be the best player in this draft class. And it wasn't something that I thought at the start of the year, but man, as the year went on, he became kind of undeniable to me in terms of that aspect. And we're going to get into that as we go through this video. So Stephon Castle, 6'6", around 215 pounds. He's from Georgia. He played his lone year of college basketball at Uconn, where as a freshman, he helped the team win the national championship and go back-to-back for the first time since Florida in 2007. So Stephon Castle, the number one thing about Stephon Castle to me is he's a winner. The guy does whatever needs to be done to win a basketball game, and I think that is an underrated skill for players coming out, especially American players coming out in recent years, where there's a lot of guys who are very skilled in terms of dribbling, maybe shooting. They don't have a great feel for the game. Castle has a great feel for the game. And to further that point, I think you could say, on top of that, one of his other best traits would be his just overall well-roundedness, his versatility. And that shows up whether that's his perimeter defense, which I think is up there for best in the class, his just overall defensive ability, his ability to make plays for others, to score inside, and then as the year went on, his development as a three-point shooter. And so I really think there's a lot of positives, a lot of things to like about Stephon Castle. Now, some things that might be more like gray area, I would say I don't think he's a great athlete. I think he's more of like a good athlete, and some of that can be shown when he's driving to the basket. He doesn't necessarily have this tremendous burst to score when he gets an opening. He's got to kind of like feel around and kind of look for openings around the basket. And then, as I mentioned, he struggled with his shot early, and he didn't finish the season as like some sort of flamethrower. Let's not like be confused here, but he did become a guy who Uconn could rely on, and when teams were sagging off of him, he could make them pay. And his confidence really improved as the year went on, just overall. And I think a lot of that was he was the only McDonald's All-American to come into Uconn, so there's certainly pressure this season to come in. Certainly pressure with that. He had some injuries, and an injury in the middle of the season, like early in the season as well. And he's coming into a team with a bunch of veterans, older guys, and he's got to figure out how does he fit in. And I think as the year went on, I think he started to realize that his job wasn't to fit in. His job was to become one of the guys or the guy on given nights. And I think that really showed in the NCAA tournament, where there was a couple of games where he looked like their best player. Now, on certain nights, it may have been Tristan Newton or Donovan Clingan or Cam Spencer, but Stephon Castle was right up there with anybody. And at 19 and a half years old, when the draft comes, there's certainly plenty of time for his development to continue. And that's part of the reason why I think he could end up being the best player in this class, is because I saw over his freshman year how he got better and better as the year went on, which gives me a lot of confidence for his potential moving forward. So would I draft Stephon Castle? 100%. I would take him on my team 7 days out of 7. Now, what teams do I think would be a good fit for him? I think the Wizards, they just need talent. Do I think it'd be a great fit for his career? No. But for the team, yeah, they could certainly use somebody like Castle. I think the Spurs could be a great fit for Stephon Castle. I think with Devin Vassell there as a guy who's a knockdown shooter on higher volume, you kind of take a little bit of pressure off of Castle needing to be a higher volume three-point shooter. And so you have those two guys as your wing defenders with Wembanyama. I think the Spurs would be a great fit for Stephon Castle. And then lastly, I think a team like the Blazers could be a really good fit for him. He could come in, be an immediate impact as a wing defender, also have opportunities to make plays. And then he's got some smaller guards in like Anthony Simons and Scoot Henderson, who could take away some of the bulk of the playmaking duty. But I think he could be a good piece in Portland as well. So I think he could go anywhere between one. Like I don't see any reason why he couldn't go number one in this year's draft, all the way down to number 7, depending on how teams view him. And as a comp, the guy who came to mind for me is Andre Iguodala. I don't think he's as athletic as Iguodala was. Iguodala was one of the top athletes in the league, but I think a lot of his other skills, his perimeter defense, his ability to be a playmaker, score in different ways, but not be like a high volume scorer. There's a lot of similarities there to Iguodala's game. So let me know what you guys think about Stephon Castle. I really like him, and I think he's going to be a long-term NBA player. But I'm curious what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.